How to calculate calorie intake per day for weight loss? All right, let's dive right in. In this video, we'll talk about calories and why they matter. And then we'll go through the different types of calories. And last, we'll dive into the best way to calculate your calories. Okay, calories. This is one of the most Googled subjects out there because people just don't know how much they should be eating. They don't know who to believe, they don't know what to believe. And you could look on the internet and there are all sorts of apps and calorie counters and formulas. We don't know which one to choose. I mean, no wonder you're confused. I've been in this industry 26, 27 years. I've seen every type of program come and go. I've seen what works, I've seen what doesn't, and people are just confused when it comes to calories. And our government is absolutely not helping in this situation when they put the recommended daily allowance for people on the back of labels. So they have this general, broad, every person needs either 2,000 or 2,000 calories a day. Who is reading that label? Is it an 87-year-old grandma with a broken hip, or is it a 300-pound tight end for Ole Miss? Who is that for? Every single person is bio-individual, and we all need a different calorie amount. But trying to figure out how many calories you need is so confusing, and it's really difficult. So what is a calorie? A calorie is just a unit of measurement. It's a unit of energy. That's it. It's not good. It's not bad. It just is. It is a unit of energy. You have to have calories to live. And people demonize calories, and I don't understand that. Like they actually have a visceral reaction to the word. We've always just led to believe that they're bad. In fact, that old movie Steel Magnolias, you guys remember that with Olympia Dukakis and Sally Field and a few of those really great actors in them? Well, there's this one scene where they're at Shelby's wedding, played by Julie Roberts. And one of the girls cuts off a slice of the cake, and another girl walking by looks at her and says, calories, calories, na 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 na. Like, don't eat that because it's got calories. And she repeats it back, calories, calories. You know, it's kind of a funny scene, but that's the way that everybody thinks. They just think that they're bad. They're not bad. You don't want to demonize them. They just are. And you need to have them to live. So you might as well choose good calories when you're going to choose calories. But how many do you eat? Yeah, that's a really big question. How many do you eat? So, do calories matter? The short answer is yes, calories matter. Unfortunately, you've got to pay attention to the volume of food that you're eating if you want to lose weight. You've got to get yourself in a calorie deficit if you want to lose weight. And there are a lot of experts out there who disagree with me on that. Ken Berry, Dr. Berry disagrees with me on that. Dr. Fung disagrees with me on that. And I don't care because I've had, at the time I'm recording this, 43,363 people come through my program, and I know what works. If I didn't put people on a certain calorie budget, they would not be able to lose weight. But the key is, what calorie budget is right for you? So there is this old thought process, not that old, it does go back a while, but is CICO, calories in, calories out. And a lot of experts out there, they're like, calories are the only thing you need to worry about. As long as you're in a calorie deficit, there's nothing else you need to worry about. Yes, part of that is true. If you put yourself in a calorie deficit, no matter where your calories come from, you are gonna lose weight. So yes, if you put yourself in a calorie deficit while still eating McDonald's, will you lose weight? Yes, you will lose weight. If you put yourself in a calorie deficit while still eating Twinkies, yeah, you'll lose weight. But you're gonna feel like absolute garbage. So the quality of the calorie matters. Where the calorie is coming from matters because that's going to determine how your body reacts to it. That's gonna determine how you're gonna feel. So if you think about 1,000 calories of Twinkies versus 1,000 calories of a ribeye steak, the ribeye steak is going to be used 100% by your body. Your body's going to utilize every part of that ribeye, and you're going to walk away feeling fantastic. Your blood sugar is not going to spike. You're not going to have these major spikes and major dips. You're going to feel great. You're going to have energy. You're going to build muscle. It's going to be incredible with that ribeye steak. But if you eat 1,000 calories of Twinkie, what's going to happen? there's no usable nutrient in that Twinkie, you're going to have this massive sugar spike and then this massive sugar plummet. You're going to feel like garbage. You're going to release a ton of insulin, which is going to make it impossible for your body to lose fat. You're going to feel awful. You're going to have a headache. You're going to have a stomach ache. You're going to have inflammation all throughout your body. It's going to be an absolute mess. So, will you lose weight? Yeah, but you're going to feel like garbage. And you're going to perpetuate your sugar addiction. You're going to perpetuate the fact that you need medication. If you want to reduce medication, if you want to just lose weight, okay, well, that's fine. Pay attention to just the calories, I guess. But if you're wanting to clear up your acne and you're wanting to have more energy, have more confidence, if you want the pain to go away in your hands and your knees, if you want to reduce migraines, if you want to sleep better, if you want to feel better and reduce the amount of medications and sleep better, then you're going to want to pay attention to where that calorie is coming from, because calories all react differently in your body. No matter who you talk to, no matter what you find on the internet, you're going to find different opinions about this. How many calories do you burn? How many calories are you burning while you vacuum your house? I had a lot of people that say, well, I trace my 2-year-old around. Well, then why are you still fat? Why are you still overweight if you just run around chasing your 2-year-old? Do you really honestly think that you're burning a ton of calories while you're chasing your 2-year-old? I get it that it's hard. Your 2-year-old is flat driving you crazy. But that doesn't mean you're burning a ton of calories. And even when you go to Orange Theory or CrossFit, or when you do a bodybuilding workout, or when you run 3 miles, how many calories are you truly burning? I know how many calories I'm burning because I track. But if you're not tracking with a chest strap that goes around your chest and measures your heart rate and is accurately set for you, then you don't know how many calories you're burning. I can promise you're not burning nearly as much as you think you are. And if you try to grab the handles on the treadmill while you're walking and have that heartbeat sensor, track your heart rate and then it spits out an amount of calories that you are just burning. How does that treadmill know who I am? How does it know how much muscle I have on my body? How does it know my age or my height? How does it know my gender? How does it know my metabolism? It doesn't know anything about me, anything. It just senses a person with hands hanging on to the handrails, and that is asinine to even think about using that as any kind of an indication of how much calories you're burning. I can promise you, if you actually start tracking the amount of calories you burn every day, it is not as much as you think. And it certainly hasn't earned you a right to order Domino's pizza. It's always less than what you think. That might sound depressing, but that's why we don't use exercise as a way to address our weight problem. We don't, because there's no way you're going to be able to burn enough calories through exercise to make a dent in your weight loss. Look, I'm carrying 40 pounds of fat on my body. That's 140,000 calories in stored fat. Do you honestly think my little 3-mile runs that I do to get Annabelle out for exercise, do you think that is going to make a dent in my stored fat? No, and it won't make a dent in yours either. So you need to understand that you are not burning as much as you think, and that you'll never be able to exercise it off. There are a lot of gyms out there that want you to believe that you are burning way more than you think, and I get that. They're trying to get you to come to their class, to come to their gym, to have a gym membership. I get all that. But it's simply a flawed way to try to calculate how many calories you need to eat per day based on what you burn in the gym and based on It's just so incredibly confusing. It's so bio-individual. There are so many variables that you have to consider when you are trying to figure out how many calories to eat per day. So before we get into my next point on how to calculate your calories, I want to stop and I want you to comment below and tell me, what do you think about calories? And what is your impression of them? How do you calculate how many calories to eat per day? Comment below. I want to hear what you think. The best way to calculate calories is to let me do it for you. Maybe not the answer you were expecting, but I trust me more than I trust you. And the bottom line is, this is not my first rodeo. I've been in this industry years and years and years, and I have developed over the course of many years a proprietary formula that I use to figure out someone's calorie intake. If you're wondering how many calories you need to eat, well, that is one of the many things that I'll tell you on a custom program. I'm going to calculate how many calories you need in order to lose weight but not be miserable and not tank your metabolism or do any kind of damage to your body. There is a fine line, and it's very, very important that you hit that number correctly. You don't want to do damage to your body by eating too low. But what is too low? Well, I know what that formula is, and I think I'll link it up below, the custom program for you, so you can take part in that if you want. But a custom program is definitely the way to go to address all of these issues. Calories, macros, water, meal timing, everything is covered in that custom program. That's why it's almost $1,000. You get everything. Plus you get 3 months of accountability, 3 months of coaching, lots and lots of stuff. But if you are not ready to make that investment in yourself, whether it be with the money or time, you can always start with the 10 Pound Takedown Challenge. I have those every month, $47 to join one, and you can lose 10 pounds during the challenge. Plus, you can dip your toe into the lifestyle and figure out if it's for you. Of course, the proper human diet of real food, water, and sleep is for everybody. But you need to learn and unlearn what you've been brainwashed to believe for the past 70 years. And I definitely think the challenge is the best place to start. So click the link below to join the next challenge, and I will see you on the next video.